Happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful mothers out there. And in honor of Mother's Day today, for your daily dose, we are going to be covering Tiamat, the matron of dragon witches, also affectionately known as the Mother of Dragons. And we are going to break open the trends and the mysteries and the reasons why it is so common to refer to Tiamat as the Mother of Dragons, or the Dragon Mother, or the Matron of the Dragon Witches. But if you are new here, assalamu alaikum, merry meet, and welcome back to your daily dose of DragonFaether. My name is Azura DragonFaether, the Draconic Priestess, and for today I will be your host here on Mother's Day to honor the Dragon Mother herself, Tiamat, to see why she is considered and revered as the mother of all dragons, and it's just a really good juicy video. I have the notes here so I don't miss anything, and if you have not seen my video about the dragon is the divine feminine, I'm definitely going to recommend you watch that video after this one if you have not already seen it, because it is essentially more of an introduction about how Tiamat is the mother of dragons. So with that being said, let's just do a little quick disclaimer here before we jump in the video. I am in no way stating that this is factual in the sense of like you have to work with Tiamat as the mother of dragons. No ma'am, no sir. This is just a very common way that our community connects with Tiamat, the deity from ancient Sumeria, Mesopotamia, and Babylon. She is a very, very popular goddess to work with if you are a dragon witch, and many people who identify as Dragonkin or Dragon Souls also have a very strong connection to her. And today we are going to basically be talking about why that might be. But not every practitioner, not every Dragonkin, not every Dragon Soul, and not every Dragon Witch is going to see Tiamat in this way. So we're not saying that it's like a blanket statement over everybody. Everyone's craft is different. So just wanted to get that disclaimer out of the way that this might not work for you, this might not resonate with you, and that is okay. But it also might work with you, it also might resonate with you, and that is also okay. So let's jump into part number one, which is essentially Tiamat as the mother of dragons. How did we get here? So here's what I have written down. Tiamat is called the matron of dragon witches because she is a dragon goddess and the creator of monsters, gods, and dragons, okay? Tiamat has the only myth in history as a dragon mother personified as a dragon herself. Because of this, many dragon witches, dragonkin, and dragon souls gravitate towards her as their matron goddess, or their like spirit mother, if you will. All right, and because she is the ancient, basically, like her mythology is very old, by the way, like older than like 2,500 years type of old. And because of how ancient her myths are and how revered she is within her myths as a dragon goddess, this is what really has prompted her to be, I guess you could say, remembered or reconstructionalized as the mother of dragons in modern day dragon magic and in modern day like just dragon identity. And no other goddess like this really exists in such a popular concrete fashion the way that Tiamat does, which is why we have such a popular association with her as the mother of dragons. And we also have many of us might gravitate towards her as like a spiritual mother representation or as a matron goddess, because she literally is the dragon mother personified. She is the archetype of the mother, of the divine mother creator, if you will, and she is the personification of that through a dragon. She also represents how chaos and creation are two sides of the same coin, as well as she is one of the best representations, if you ask me personally, in mythology for the archetype of the mother bear, if you will, the defending her children, defending her hatchlings. Very, very sweet myth. If you have not heard her myth, it is the Enuma Elish from ancient Babylon, Mesopotamia, and Sumeria, and there are readings here on YouTube that you can find of her entire myth for free. So if you have not heard it, you definitely are going to want to go check that out. But let's talk about part two now. Okay, so part two is Tiamat as the matron of dragon witches. I have written down here, due to her mythology and the age of her myths, she is considered the mother of all dragons, and that all dragons can be traced back to her. And the reason why this is for two very obvious reasons. One, she's a goddess, okay, literally. And second, she's a dragon. Literally, okay? So her unique identity as both deity and dragon makes her the anchor point for many, if not most, of dragon magic practitioners today in modern day dragon magic. And dragon witches often feel like spiritually adopted by her due to this deep mythic resonance. And I do too. I personally have really struggled with having a strong maternal figure in my life. And while my relationship with my real life mother is getting better nowadays, shout out to you, Mom, happy Mother's Day. But as it's getting better nowadays, the truth is that growing up, I really struggled. And when I really am hurting with my inner child, I have always gravitated towards goddesses throughout my life. I really struggled connecting with like God energy, and that's a video for another time. But in this particular context, when I found and discovered Tiamat, because I've heard about her throughout my lifetime, and when I did a lot of deep dives here on the internet like over a decade ago, learning about dragon magic and draconic Wicca before we popularized the system here on the channel that like most people use for draconic Wicca, before we did that, we were really just scouring the internet for anything and everything that we could get our hands on for dragon magic and just for dragons and spirituality in general. And we came across a couple videos that even talked about Tiamat, but also we've heard about Tiamat in passing, like through Dungeons and Dragons and also in the Godzilla movie, etc. There's so many like little reminders of Tiamat's existence in my personal practice, and I know that many of us dragon witches have also had this same or similar experience. However, when I got the book that one of my dragon guardians told me, shout out to Pickle Chips, my dragon guardians told me to get this book called The First Sex by Elizabeth Gold Davis, and I did a reading of the entire book on this channel, and if you have not seen it already, click the cards. I will leave the cards for the playlist. It's called My Bible, The First Sex, and in that book I discovered Tiamat and her mythology and how she really is like the dark divine feminine in a way that the patriarchy has completely attempted to snuff out. And because of her symbolism, because of her mythology, and because of her origin stories in the Enuma Elish, she has really taken on this newfound personification in modern day dragon magic as the matron for all of us in all of our practices. And you will find many of us in the dragon magic niche talking about Tiamat. So next, which part 3 leads me to the mother of all dragons. So what I have written down here is, for those who identify as dragonkin and or dragon souls, many call themselves the children of Tiamat, for she symbolizes the mother of dragons and by extension the mother of alter human identity and dragon form. So because again this kind of builds off of her being the origin story or like the origin point of dragons, many people who identify as dragonkin or dragon souls but don't necessarily practice dragon magic, they simply identify with the dragon archetype rather than like more of a human identity, they have more of a dragon identity. Many of these individuals will also resonate with being like symbolically the children of Tiamat. And this isn't a literal thing. This isn't like a past life thing either. This is genuinely like metaphorical, it's symbolic, and it's very sacred for many of us in our personal identities and our practice and how we relate to our spirits and our souls. And it's a very intimate, very profound experience to feel like a child of Tiamat. I myself identify as one because again, I really do resonate with Tiamat as my dragon spiritual mother. And because of the age and scope of her mythology, many believe that all dragons trace their essence back to her. Some people even believe this is literal. I would caution against literal like mythicism or like mythic literalism. It's really dangerous and can make a lot of people become ungrounded, and people can use certain things to start justifying things that hurt people in real life. So please just be really cautious if you literally identify as a child of Tiamat, but that is not something I encourage on this channel. I don't encourage like literal dragonkin or otherkin or anything like that, or physical otherkin dragonkin or whatever. And if you do identify as this, I'm not hating on you, okay? I'm not saying you can't be that way. I'm just saying that I've seen it hurt more people than not, and I've seen people who identify as literally the children of Tiamat in a past life outside of the context of her like mythology hurts a lot of people. It is spiritual psychosis in many cases, and I just feel like it's really necessary for me to state this for harm reduction for our community and the safety of our community. And this again brings me into part 4, which is Tiamat and Dragonkin and Dragon Souls. And she isn't literally our mom, as I have written down, nor was she a mother of us in a past life. Her story is allegory and symbolic to the ancient truth that the first mother is a dragon. When our essence and spirits identify and feel more dragon than human, then we are one of Tiamat's children, symbolically speaking. And again, not everybody will agree with this. This is just a common belief and a common practice within the dragon magic community and the Dragonkin and the Dragon Soul community. And again, many people who also identify as Dragonkin or Dragon Souls will also call themselves Children of Tiamat as like an alternative. And it basically is like our spiritual mother, and she becomes the mother of alter human identity, not biologically, but symbolically. She is basically the face of the those who identify as children of dragons, or those who identify as children of Tiamat, literally, or people who identify as dragon in any way, shape, or form, be it, you know, like literally, be it physically, or again, behaviorally, cognitively, and especially spiritually. And then I really want to like emphasize the importance of part 5 here, okay? The importance of allegory and cultural respect. We do not want to culturally appropriate Tiamat and her story, okay? She's a very special and sacred goddess. So here is how we avoid doing that, okay? So to change any of her myths to fit your desires is cultural appropriation. We barely know anything about Tiamat, but she is so popular because of being a dragon mother as a dragon herself. So this is very, very common, and unfortunately very encouraged, especially because a lot of people know of Tiamat through like pop culture, right? Or pop culture references like Dungeons and Dragons, and also like movies like Godzilla, right? She was in Godzilla. It was really sad seeing her die. Okay, that was really sad. Couldn't handle it. Sadness, okay. Anyway, but we love the pink Godzilla. The pink Godzilla comes from Tiamat. Okay, I'm gonna just stop spoiling it for you. Sorry guys, if I spoiled it for you, really big sorry. But I am gonna tell you guys that, you know, trying to change Tiamat's personification, her story, or whatever to insert yourself into it and however you want to is cultural appropriation and should be heavily discouraged, because these are ancient myths from ancient cultures that we no longer know, really. It's just whispers of the past, and we need to treat things like this with the respect and the care and the honor that it deserves. And we don't want to rewrite it to fit our narrative. So let me give you the most common way that Tiamat is culturally appropriated today as an example. Many people will call Tiamat a hydra, or say that Tiamat has 3 heads, or say that Tiamat has like multiple heads. And this is a common belief because in Dungeons and Dragons, she's personified as a hydra with 5 heads, and she is not, okay? In her mythology, she is not a hydra, okay? She is from ancient Sumeria, Babylon, Mesopotamia. The hydra is a mythical creature from Greek mythology, okay? What are we doing, all right? No, okay? That is disrespectful. She's not a hydra. This is a common pop culture belief, and many dragon witches identify with Tiamat having like being a hydra, and that is truly a path that you need to walk on your own. But I'm going to be the first to tell you that it comes from Dungeons and Dragons, and we don't really appreciate that because, again, it's cultural appropriation of a very sacred and ancient dragon goddess. So what we do know is that she's revered as a mother, a storm, the sea of origin. We see her as the salt water in the myth, and how her and Epsu, which is her consort, or the dragon god of fresh water, how they mixed and created the world, birthed all the gods and all of the things, right? And in her myth, Tiamat was slain, and her body became the heavens and the earth, and her tears became the Tigris and Euphrates river, okay? And her son Kingu was slain, and his blood is what made humanity. Some people say that she created humanity. That would technically be incorrect, okay? Because it was Kingu, who is also commonly like considered a dragon, but there's no evidence of Kingu being an actual dragon. So we can definitely deep dive into her like pantheon later if you'd like, but that is essentially what we do know about Tiamat is canon, and what we do know about Tiamat being like pop culture, and what we do know as cultural appropriation. So this is part number 6. And what is Tiamat to you? Let me know in the comment section, okay? Offer a reflection point. It says offer reflection to yourself and allow yourself to reflect on what Tiamat really means for you and what she represents for you. And do you feel called to Tiamat? You know, you can simply be a child of Tiamat simply if you resonate with her and you want to be. You don't need anything other than your heart to feel like it's like you belong there, that you belong with Tiamat as a child of Tiamat. That's all that it requires to identify this way. And if you want to meet more Children of Tiamat, don't forget to join the Hatchling Clan Discord server. It's the first link in the description of this video. And we have Tiamat chat, and we also just have so many people who love dragons over there, and everybody really works with her in her own way. And I want you guys to consider how you can experience Tiamat in your own personal craft, but doing so without distorting her original myth and honoring her sacred origins. And how can you really, start to connect with Tiamat? Well, I have a little secret practice of mine that I absolutely love, and this is my daily part. This is part 7, by the way. This is my daily ritual that I use to connect with Tiamat every single day, and how you can use it to initiate contact with Tiamat and initiate that relationship too, if you'd like to. So if you seek to connect with Tiamat, as I have written down, I recommend adopting a bath ritual or a shower ritual daily where you can connect with Tiamat in the water. Turn the light off, light some candles, even light dragon's blood incense, and rest in the water. Allow visions and downloads to reach you. It's about melting into the cradle of Tiamat's womb, the dark void of watery space. This daily practice helps us tap into the water of primordial creation and chaos, as well as darkened void, and let her storms and her depths cleanse you, okay? And this is really something that I do daily to not only cleanse my body and clean myself, but also to really just surrender myself to the womb of Tiamat and see what reaches me, and being in the motherly energy of creation. And some people, they view Tiamat like as God, like as the original God. There's a lot of debate around, Genesis from the Old Testament and the New Testament being directly plagiarized from Tiamat's creation myth of the Enuma Elish. I think it's very fascinating. I think all of it is more connected than we could ever imagine. But this is essentially my introduction, I guess, if you will, to how Tiamat is the matron of dragon witches, and why we really classify her as the mother of dragons, and why many Dragonkin and Dragon Souls deeply resonate with Tiamat as their spiritual mother. And even if you don't resonate with her as your spiritual mother, and you just want to work with Tiamat as a type of goddess, or as a goddess in your practice, or as an archetype in your craft, then I really hope that this video, helped you out. And if you want to learn more about Tiamat, do not forget to check out my episode called The Dragon is the Divine Feminine. It's also called The Truth About the Dark Feminine, and it's another deep dive into Tiamat and her archetype, and how she really does personify the rejected and scorned archetype of the female, or the woman in power, I should say. And I definitely love that video, so you're definitely gonna want to click it. It's either in the cards or it's going to be at the very end of this video if you haven't seen it already. But please do consider joining the Hatchling Clan Discord server. It's the first link in the description if you want to learn more about Tiamat, if you want to connect with other Children of Tiamat. And we have a very exciting temple for Tiamat launching here pretty soon, either at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. So you're gonna want to stay tuned if you are interested in joining Tiamat's temple. You can follow the Instagram, The Tiamat's Temple, at The Tiamat's Temple on Instagram if you are interested in getting a sneak peek of how we are going to be setting up the temple for Tiamat. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and all your love for Tiamat. And again, happy Mother's Day to all my beautiful dragon mothers out there. I hope this video was amazing and you enjoyed it. And thank you guys for choosing to spend some of your day with me today for Mother's Day. I absolutely love Tiamat, and I love Mother's Day, and I love the Mother of Dragons, and it's just all awesome stuff. So I couldn't do any of this without you, so thank you guys so much for tuning in today. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky. A little hatchlings. Yeah. Ding. Okay. Gaddafi's blessed be. Amen.
We'll see you back next time.